it will load the data into staging table. Okay, load means it will load the data into base tables. So staging tables are Oracle staging tables. Staging table is same for every business object. Staging table is same for every business object. Base table is different for every business object. Staging table is same for every business object. Base table is different for every business object. Okay, so what will happen is, guys, first DAT file will be there. So the structure of the file and data, it will store into staging table. Then from here it will load into base tables. First data file contain the data, then it will store into staging table, then staging table data it will store into base tables.
Recording in progress.
Understand, guys? So first we have DAT file data we have. So the DAT file data it will store into staging table. So staging tables are given by Oracle. Even the base tables also given by Oracle, but ultimate our goal is to store the data into base table. So from the DAT file you cannot load into base tables. So the process should be like this. So when the data will be stored into staging table, so in HCM data loader we have import option in there. So using the import option, the data will be stored into staging table. So after import done, then you need to use the load option to load the data into base table. So what staging table will do? Staging table will verify structure of the file correct or not. Staging table will verify the structure of the file correct or not. Staging table will verify the structure of the file correct or not. Okay. So I will show you one of the file. You take this file. So for example, this is the metadata, right? So now from this metadata, we have a list of data there. So now I would like to tell that what do you mean by structure of the file? So by mistake, you added one extra pipe symbol. By mistake, you added extra pipe symbol. And by mistake, merge is different. Metadata is some spelling mistakes are there. So this column is some spelling mistakes are there. So those cases, it will check the staging tables, guys. Understand or not? Staging table will verify the structure of the file correct or not. What do you mean by structure? So whatever the Oracle given the structure, if the structure of the file correct, then it will load into staging table phase. Staging table name I will tell you when we load the data. When we load the practically, that time I will tell you. So till here, any question you can ask me. With this theoretically done, now we are going to start the development phase. We are going to start the development. So the important points which I need to tell in the HDL is, first you need to understand like what is mean by, okay, you need to understand the importance of the business object. So what I mean by business object is, business objects is a kind of submodule, and it contains it contains structure of the table. For example, in the table, how many columns are there? That columns will be there in the business object. So one business object we have one metadata or multiple metadata. So again, you all know, right, what is metadata? Metadata contains the column structure. So multiple metadata means I told you, right? So for example, if you take the worker business object, job business object, we have multiple metadata are there. So based on the requirement, we have a one metadata or multiple metadata available. Understand or not? One metadata, multiple metadata. So if you look at this one, so this is metadata. So for job family, this many columns are there. So some business objects we have multiple metadata are there. In which case we have multiple metadata are there. For example, if business object, for example, if the business object having parent and child, then we will have multiple metadata. So this is what you have to understand the business object, guys. So this is what you have to understand the business object. So now one more important thing you have to understand. Okay, so if the business object having parent and child, then we will have a multiple metadata available. Okay, and one more important thing you have to understand is, so what I mean by keys, guys, to update, delete the, to update and delete the data, to update and delete the data, to update and delete the data, we can use these. So we have a keys like source system owner, GUID, source keys, GUID, surrogate key, source keys, GUID, surrogate keys,
user key.
User keys. So this keys also you have to understand, guys. And one more thing you have to understand, import and load, and staging table, base table, and keys table. Staging table, base table, and keys table. So first to check whether the structure of the after import and load, you have to verify these three tables, guys. After import and load, we have to verify these three tables: staging table, base table, and keys table. So staging table, what it will do, it will load the data whether the structure of the file correct or not. Base table means once the data has stored into staging table, so from here it will load into base table. So once the base table data has loaded, so then it will load into keys table. Keys table means so this data source keys, GUID, surrogate keys, this information will be stored into keys table. So these three tables we need to verify whether after the successfully completed the import and load option. So this keys information also will be stored into this table. So what is the keys table name? HRC underscore integration key underscore map table. HRC integration key underscore map table. So these are the important things you have to remember, guys. Staging table also same table for every business object, but base table names will be changed. So our main goal is to load the data into base tables, guys. So once the data has loaded into base tables, then our data will be affected in the front end. So once the data has loaded into the base table, then it will affect into the front end. Yes, so any question you can ask me, guys. Okay. So the first beginning step you have done. Anyway, guys, we will. So once you will see step by step one data load, you will understand. So where to see the errors. Okay, what do you mean by staging table? What do you mean by base table? What do you mean by case table? Everything. So once we load one example, you will understand. So first step is, guys, first for example, we are considering to load the data job family business object. Job family business object. Job family business object. Okay. I'm considering to load the data into using job family business object. First, second step is download the business object. So how to download the business object? First we are considering the job family business object. So second step is download the job family business object. So 39, right? Okay. So first go to the my client group, data exchange, view business objects. Job family, download. Job family business object, download the template file. I will create one folder here. Data load. That's so I'm going to maintain one folder for all the data loaders integrations. Okay. So open this one. So if you see the metadata, your job family. So here, so this is the comments and metadata. So by default, these two will come. Hmm? Now download the job family business object. That is done. Next, third step, set up the source system owner name. Set up the source system owner name in the lookup. Set up the source system owner name in the lookup. Go to set up the source system owner name in the lookup. Set up the source system owner name in the lookup. Setup and maintenance. See the third step. Search, manage, common lookup. Manage common lookups. Click on plus. Sorry, not click on plus. Use search here. There is a name called HRC.
Sir, how can we know it is like HRC common for, I mean, the type is HRC common?
Wait, you will understand.
Okay.
Okay, not HRC common, HRC. So this is the standard lookup type. You need to remember this name. Set up the source system owner name in the lookup. So this is the name lookup name which given by Oracle. So here we need to set up the source system owner name. That means so wherever you are getting the data, for example, you are getting the data in SAP. For example, you are getting the data in the Tally system, Salesforce. Okay. So whichever the data you are getting from the source system name. Source system means legacy system name. So that we need to define here. So this is the standard name. You means we need to follow like this only. Okay. Click on plus. Click on plus. Lookup code. So for example, I'm getting the data from Salesforce. Example, I'm telling you. Salesforce. Salesforce. Save and close. Understand the navigation on guys? To set up the source system owner name. Set up the source system owner name in the lookup. So source system owner name I have. You can mention any name guys. Source system owner name equal to source system owner name equal to I have mentioned the Salesforce. So you can give any name, Salesforce or SAP or Tally, whatever. So this is the name you have to remember. Once again, I will show you. First, we need to go to setup and maintenance. Search, manage, manage common lookups. Manage common lookups. Search this name.
HCM source system.
Search this name. Click on. Here, lookup code you can mention. Lookup code you can mention any name. Salesforce I'm giving. One. So base system or legacy system. All are same. Like this. So after that, you can click on save and close. Because I already created, I'm not saving. Salesforce I already created, that is the reason I'm not saving this one. So what will happen is when we load the data into Oracle Fusion HCM Cloud, keys tables are there, right? So in the keys table, source key, source system owner and source system ID. For example, if you mention the Salesforce name in the source system owner name, so in the HRC integration key map table, this value will be stored. I think after when we load the data, you will understand. So this name can be any name, guys. So first 3 steps, any question you can ask me is. Okay.
Vamshi, how can we know that lookup name to go and search here? Is it
Uh,
common for every time?
It is common. I told you that this is standard common for every business object in HDR.
For every role?
For every?
Every role? Only for HCM?
Only for HCM, this one. HRC means HCM, right? HRC means HCM.
This is source system owner name. Why should we are providing there in the lookup? Like to
HRC source system owner name, actually we no need to provide. But if in case if you want to know from which system you are loading the data, so that for that purpose only we are providing. So if you are not giving also, it will load the data. But just for your
okay.
understanding purpose,
Okay.
from where you are loading the data. So that is the reason. This is the third step. Next to fourth step, enter sample data in the front end. Identify the Enter sample data in the front end to identify the mandatory columns. Enter sample data in the front end to identify the mandatory columns. Enter sample data in the front end to identify the mandatory columns. Okay, how to identify the mandatory columns in the front end. Okay, so instead of I can say this word, identify the mandatory columns. So there are two ways to identify the mandatory columns. There are two ways to identify the mandatory columns. One is there are two ways to identify the mandatory columns. One is by seeing the business by seeing the view business object. Second is enter the sample data in the front end to identify the mandatory columns. So mandatory columns means what is the meaning of mandatory columns is? So when you download the business object, it will contain all the columns, right? It contains all the columns, but we require only means you can enter non-mandatory columns also, but why do we have to enter the non-mandatory columns? So if the client has given the data which is non-mandatory columns, so that you can enter that. But if you don't want to enter the mandatory columns data, you can leave it. That's not a problem. So first of all, how you can in the given business object, how you can find mandatory columns. So you can go like this. Go to data exchange. View business object. View business object. View business object. So you search here job family business object. So job family is one of the business object I have taken, guys. In the real time, it may come any business object for you to work on. Attributes. So yeah. If you look at the job family code, is the for new records it is required. For new records it is required. Job family ID is required. Active status for new records it is required. Effective start date, yes means required for every case. So what do you mean by for new records? For new records, guys, anyone can answer? For new records,
Whenever first time we are entering, right?
Yeah, when you create the new data in the system, then new record, that is called new records. For update time, these three not required. Sorry, active status for updating case. For new records means when you create the new data in the system. So this is the way you can identify the required field there. So by seeing the required field only, you can identify the mandatory columns. See, if you see source system owner and source system ID, it is saying no, right? That means these are not mandatory. I told you, right? So just now, source system owner and source system ID is not mandatory. If you want, you can give. So just for our identification purpose, so which is source of the data you are loading. So usually in the real time, we need to put the source system owner name and source system ID, so that easily identification purpose. Understand, right? So this is one way to identify the mandatory columns. How to identify this? Search the business object name. So there view business objects, you have attributes, you have a required option in there. So by seeing the required option, you can identify it. this is one way. So another way is so for I told you, right, every business objects we have front end screen also will be there, right? So every business object we have front end screen also will be there. So what you will do, you go here, setup and maintenance. Search. So search manage job family. Manage job families. Great. So here also you can able to find this here. Star is there, no? Star indicates the mandatory. Effective start date, job family name, job family code, status. So this is the mandatory columns. Effective start date. Effective start date. Job family name. Job family name. Job family code, status. Effective start date, job family name, job family code, and status. So these are the mandatory columns for this business object. Next, save enter some sample data, guys, just for your understanding. Just family code. Just sample data you can enter, guys. Test family name, test family code, active status. Submit. Just to take this test family name. Test family. Submit. Okay, so now what I will do here. So if you want to verify whether the job family, whatever you enter the data, right, that is loaded or not. So there are two ways you can enter whether this data loaded or not in through front end. So just go here, search here, job family name, search. You can see here. Like this. This is one way. So another way is you can search in the backend table also. Tools, reports and analytics, browse catalog. Create data model. So if you want to identify the base table name for the job family, so what you will do, you can go here. So you can check here. Over here, you can go to the Fusion apps over here. Search here. Table tables and views for HCM. Global human resources. For job, family. So take this one. Where? Okay, and this one. So what you will do? Column name, job, family code. You can take. So this is the sample check, guys, whether our data from the front end to feed into this. So this is called base table for the job family. So this is called base table for the job family. That means when you load the data in through HDL, our ultimate goal is the data should be feed into this table. So once the data should be feed into this table, so it will affect in the front end also. It will affect in the front end also. Okay. So now what we will do, we have identified the mandatory columns, right? So you have to write like this. So first, whatever the non-mandatory columns you can remove from here. So, and also one more thing is source system ID, source system ID, like job family ID, the source system ID. So this automatically will be feed the data by system. So you no need to enter manually. So even though this is mandatory, but this field, like not only job family ID, any surrogate key data will be fed by automatically in the system. So you no need to enter manually. Remove this one. And effective started mandatory, effective ended non-mandatory. Remove this one. Job family code, job family name, action region code not mandatory. Remove this one. Active status required. Job family code, job family name, active status required. Source system owner and source system ID. These two are not mandatory, but still we can enter the data. That is for our future reference purpose. GUID also will be generated by system. The remaining columns, whatever it is there, right? So these are all not required. So you remove from here. So how to remove? Just like this. Delete. So only we have put the mandatory columns in our business object, guys. So even the job family ID is the mandatory, but I have not put because job family ID will be taken care by system itself. And every column beside end of this, you no need to mention this one. Just why I am mentioning here is I need to show the errors. So now in this case, the structure of the file is wrong, right? If the structure of the file is wrong, the data will not be loaded into staging table. Just to show whether error will come or not. Just I'm entering the wrong data structure. The wrong file I'm entering. Why? Because to show the errors. So when you are attending an interview, they will ask what type of errors you faced. So that is the reason I'm mentioning like this. And to feed the data, what you will do guys here? Tell me. To feed the data, what command we need to use? We discuss or not? To feed the data, what command?
Import.
import.
No.
Load.
Insert.
Load data.
Insert.
No, we told it's HCM data. We have a file structure, merge, delete, set. So we need to use the merge command. So even merge command also I'm mentioning the wrong. Okay. So basically merge command it will take the capital letters, but by default to see the errors I'm mentioning the wrong data. To see the errors only I'm mentioning the wrong data. So now I mention job family. Effective start date I will mention today date 03/02/2025. Java family code, just sample data you can enter. Family code. Family, any name, just sample data. Family name. Active status. Active. Source system owner we already loaded, right? Source system owner name Salesforce. Source system ID. Just it will be maintain every row one unique value. Every row it will maintain one unique value for the source system ID. I'm mentioning. Just add some more records. A family code. B. C. D. E. P. So this should be same name. Every row it will be maintained unique. So mention like this. 3, 4, 5, like that. So after that, save. So here there are 4 or 5 errors are there. One is this pipe should not be there here. Merge command should be wrong. Date format is wrong, and remaining everything is correct only. And this pipe should not come. So even though I know the correct correct data, but I wanted to show you the errors, so where it will come. So that is the reason I have mentioned the uncorrected information here in the DAT file. Okay, so save the changes. So after you saved this, so what you will do? You rename this. So by default it is KM3, right? You change to. So after you saved that, so DAT file name should not be changed. DAT file name is same as which you downloaded from the Vue.js object. In my system, it is KM3, right? Why? Because maybe other batches which I was covering that was there in my downloads. That is it is KM3. But in your case, it will not come the 3. So you just put whatever the file you downloaded from the Vue.js object, same name you have to put here. And HCM data loader programs import and load, it will not consider as the DAT file. So we need to convert this DAT file to zip file. Convert the DAT file to zip file. How to convert the DAT file to zip file? Select this one. Just simply send to compressed zip folders. Like this. Understand it? So zip file name can be any name. So usually we will put the run one underscore some number 03/02/2025 like that. zip file name can be renamed, but inside the zip file, this DAT file will be there. The DAT file name cannot be changed. Okay. So this is the zip file. Convert the DAT file to zip file. Note, zip file name cannot be changed. Zip file name cannot be changed. The zip file name can be renamed. Sorry. Zip file name. Zip file name can be renamed. Inside the zip file name, inside the zip file name, DAT file is same as this, which you downloaded from the business object. Right. So now we need to do the data load. That activity I will show you tomorrow class.